I'm really a slave for video analysis and its use, because I use it for almost everything. I use it for pre-game planning. I use it for stealing of coaching methodologies. I watch a lot of coaches and football teams all around the world, and I try to make sure that I stay up to date with the latest trends from a tactical perspective. And sometimes I come to training every morning, and I'm on the back of my analysts to tell them to cut this clip and that clip to show to the players, because I think we've got a huge responsibility, particularly in an environment like ours in South Africa, where we're not at the level of where modern football is, and we're trying to play catch up. And it's our responsibility as technicians to make sure that the gap doesn't widen even more. In fact, we close the gap, and we try to make sure that our standard of football is just as competitive and tactically and technically at the level where the rest of the world is. And that you can only do by trying to stay abreast and learning from where everyone else is. So from that perspective, I use video technology and the use of clips from some of the best teams in the world, and to try to get clips from them and how they do certain things and their principles in relation to a Man City, for an example, how they would still high press, but sometimes high press with a 2 or a 3. How they would still high press in relation to maybe the qualities of the opposition that they've seen. Do they force the opposition to play inside and set pressing traps inside, or do they force the opposition teams outside and set pressing traps outside? The fundamental idea is important, of course, is the high press, but when they high press in relation to different opposition, how they adapt to that, and those are some of the things that I use video technology for, because not everybody learns through just listening to what the coach is saying, but also the importance of showing them from that. You show them, you tell them, and then you practically execute, and those are, from a didactics perspective, are the stages that are easier to be able to get, if followed properly, to be able to get the right outcome from a teaching perspective. But also, having said that, I still use video technology and footage for opposition analysis. So we would watch the last 5 games of the opposition, try to back that up with the data. Mm-hmm. And we are fortunate enough that we've got some of the best analysts to assist us in getting data with regards to the opposition, and trying to find ways where we can find superiority and an advantage on the pitch. So to analyze the opposition, to watch the last 5 games, etc., but also to do that with our training sessions, the daily analysis of our training sessions, daily preparation of our training sessions, and then the opposition or the analysis of our matches, and trying to consistently grow and improve our game model and our performances. We would use that a lot in doing our corrections, and we introduced something this season, which I see is in Europe is big already, with regards to expected goals and expected goals for, expected goals against, expected scoreline, etc. So trying to base what we see from a footage perspective, and trying to get data to see whether that supports the opinion that we get from the match. And sometimes you find that the result is contrary to the performance, and that they don't speak the same language. But then as technicians have got to try to find solutions in relation to that, and how do we get the expected outcome with the performance to relate to the actual outcome, and are we overachieving or underachieving in relation to where we should be in particular phases of the season, etc., or are we moving towards, are we on track in terms of moving towards where we want to be, from not only from a performance perspective, because sometimes in society, in modern day society, and especially in coaching, we tend to be judged by the results, but the reality is, for us, the most important thing is the performance, and the performance sometimes indicates whether or not you can sustain the results or not, and can you improve the results or not, and the performance is a huge indicator for that. So we use video technology, but and you said to me, what advice would I give to coaches is be careful, because it could be, there's a huge saying, it sounds very cliche, but there is something called analysis paralysis, and I am victim of that. You could easily find yourself being overly dependent on analysis, and neglect what they call the curative phase, which is the detail that comes with observation from actual live, real performance, from what you see, and that intuitive sort of feel that coaches have, and that is what I would advise coaches, be very careful, because an over reliance could lead to that,